There is a bottle sitting in your medicine cabinet right now. You probably bought it years ago. Maybe you used it once on a cut, put the cap back on, and slid it behind the other bottles where it's been sitting ever since, gathering dust, doing absolutely nothing. And that bottle, that little brown bottle that costs less than $2, has been quietly waiting to solve about 15 problems you've been spending serious money on. The aching gums you've been ignoring, the mold growing in the corner of your bathroom that no cleaner seems to touch, the stains on your whites that come out of the wash looking exactly the same as when they went in, the foot fungus you've been treating with expensive creams for months, the earwax that's been affecting your hearing. Every single one of those problems has the same solution, and it's been sitting right there in your cabinet the whole time. Today I'm going to give you 15 uses for hydrogen peroxide that most people have never heard of. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to use it, the right concentration, and the mistakes that could actually cause harm. Because there are a few things you absolutely need to know before you start. By the end of this video, I guarantee you are going to walk straight to that medicine cabinet, pick up that bottle, and wonder how you ever lived without this information. Let's go. What you need to know first. Before I get into the 15 uses, I need to give you one piece of information that changes everything, because most people get this wrong, and it makes hydrogen peroxide either useless or potentially harmful. The bottle in your medicine cabinet is almost certainly 3% hydrogen peroxide. That means 97% water and 3% active ingredient. That is the safe, standard concentration for household and personal use, and it is the concentration I am referring to throughout this entire video. There are stronger concentrations available, 6%, 12%, 35%. And I need you to understand that higher concentration does not mean better results for the uses I'm going to describe. Higher concentration means higher risk of burns, irritation, and damage to surfaces and skin. The 35% food-grade hydrogen peroxide you may have seen online is not something to experiment with at home. It can cause serious chemical burns. Stick with 3%. Everything I'm about to tell you works at 3%. Also, hydrogen peroxide has a shelf life. Once you open the bottle, it begins to break down into water and oxygen. After about 30 to 45 days of being open, it may have lost most of its potency. Test it by pouring a small amount onto a dark surface. If it bubbles, it's still active. If nothing happens, time to buy a fresh bottle. Now, 15 uses. Starting with the one that dentists charge you $100 for, and you can do it yourself for 20 cents. Use number 1, teeth whitening. You've seen the whitening strips at the pharmacy. You've seen the whitening kits at the dentist's office. You know what both of those cost, and neither of them is cheap. Here's what most people don't know. The active whitening ingredient in virtually every commercial tooth whitening product on the market is hydrogen peroxide, the same compound. The difference is the concentration, the delivery method, and the price markup. The way to do this safely at home is simple. Mix equal parts of 3% hydrogen peroxide and water. You're now working with a 1.5% solution. Swish it around your mouth for about 60 seconds, the same way you would with a mouthwash. Spit. Do not swallow. Do this once a day for 2 weeks and most people see a noticeable difference. The key warnings: don't do it for longer than 2 weeks at a stretch without a break, because overuse can cause temporary tooth sensitivity. And never use it undiluted in your mouth for extended periods. But here's the part about teeth that most people never connect to hydrogen peroxide, and it has nothing to do with whitening. That's coming up as use number 2. And this one could be protecting you from a problem that, if left untreated, is directly linked to heart disease. Use number 2, gum disease and oral bacteria. Gum disease is one of the most widespread and most ignored health problems in older adults. And I want to spend a moment on why that matters. Because most people think gum disease is just about your teeth. It is not. Multiple studies, published in peer-reviewed medical journals, have found a significant association between periodontal bacteria and cardiovascular disease. The same bacteria that inflames your gums can enter your bloodstream and contribute to inflammation of the arteries. This is not fringe science. This is mainstream medical consensus. And hydrogen peroxide, used correctly, is one of the most effective tools for reducing the oral bacteria responsible for gum disease. Here's how. Using the same diluted solution, equal parts 3% hydrogen peroxide and water, but this time, instead of swishing, use a soft toothbrush to gently brush along your gum line. The fizzing reaction you'll see is the peroxide reacting with the bacteria and organic matter in the pockets around your teeth. That's it working. Do this 2 or 3 times a week, not every day, and many people notice reduced gum bleeding and inflammation within a few weeks. Now, before I move on to use number 3, I want you to think about the last time you had an ear infection or felt like your hearing was slightly muffled. Because what I'm about to tell you is the simplest, cheapest fix most people have never tried. Use number 3, earwax removal. Cotton swabs were never designed to clean the inside of your ears. Every audiologist and ear, nose and throat specialist will tell you the same thing. Pushing a cotton swab into your ear canal compacts the wax rather than removing it. Over time, that compacted wax builds up, muffles your hearing, and can cause discomfort, ringing, and even temporary hearing loss. Hydrogen peroxide softens and loosens earwax naturally. This is actually a method recommended by many physicians. Here's exactly how to do it safely. Lie on your side with the affected ear facing up. Using a dropper, place 2 to 3 drops of 3% hydrogen peroxide at room temperature, not cold, into the ear canal. You'll hear and feel a light bubbling sensation as it reacts with the wax. That is normal. That is exactly what should happen. Stay on your side for about 5 minutes, then tilt your head to let the solution drain out onto a cloth. Warm water from a bulb syringe can then be used to gently flush the canal. Do this no more than once a week. The result, for most people, is dramatically improved hearing clarity at 0 cost. No specialist visit, no prescription eardrops, $2 worth of hydrogen peroxide from the pharmacy. But stay with me, because use number 4 moves into territory most people never consider for hydrogen peroxide, and it involves something you do every single day. Use number 4, fruit and vegetable wash. Think about how many hands have touched the produce you bring home from the grocery store. The farm workers, the packers, the truck drivers, the shelf stockers, the other shoppers who picked it up and put it back down. Now think about the pesticide residues that are present on the surface of most non-organic produce, residues that plain water does not fully remove. A diluted hydrogen peroxide wash has been shown in research to reduce surface bacteria, mold spores, and certain pesticide residues on fresh produce far more effectively than water alone. The method is straightforward. Fill a clean sink or large bowl with cold water and add a 1/4 cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide. Place your fruits and vegetables in the solution and let them soak for about 3 minutes. Rinse thoroughly with plain cold water and dry as normal. The produce does not absorb the peroxide. There is no taste difference. And you are removing contaminants that have been linked to gastrointestinal illness, particularly relevant for seniors whose immune systems are more vulnerable. This costs practically nothing, and it takes 3 extra minutes during your weekly shop unpack. Now, use number 5. This one is going to save you serious money on something most households buy monthly. Use number 5. Mold and mildew. Elimination. Commercial mold sprays. Mold removal services. Bleach-based cleaners that leave your bathroom smelling like a swimming pool and your hands feeling like sandpaper. You don't need any of them for the surface mold and mildew that appears in bathrooms, on grout lines, around window frames, and on shower curtains. Hydrogen peroxide at 3% concentration kills mold effectively. Not masks it, kills it. It breaks down the cellular structure of mold and mildew at the root, which is something many surface sprays simply don't do. Fill a spray bottle with undiluted 3% hydrogen peroxide. Spray directly onto the moldy surface. Do not wipe immediately. Let it sit for 10 minutes. This is important. Most people spray and wipe too quickly. After 10 minutes, scrub with a brush and wipe clean. For grout specifically, apply the peroxide, let it sit, and then use an old toothbrush for the scrubbing. The results on grout lines are remarkable, and the cost comparison against commercial mold removers is extraordinary. One important note: do not mix hydrogen peroxide with vinegar in the same spray bottle. Each is an effective cleaner individually, but combined they create peracetic acid, which can irritate the respiratory system. Use them separately. Which leads me directly to use number 6, which takes us completely out of the bathroom and into your laundry room. And this one is going to change the way you do laundry permanently. Use number 6, laundry whitener and stain remover. Commercial bleach is harsh on fabrics, harsh on colors that might bleed in the wash, harsh on your skin if you handle it without gloves, and harsh on the environment. Hydrogen peroxide is gentler, effective, and can do most of what bleach does on whites, without the damage. For general whitening of white fabrics, add 1 cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide to your washing machine drum before adding clothes. Run on your normal cycle. The clothes come out noticeably brighter without the chemical stress that bleach puts on the fibers. For specific stains, blood, sweat stains on collar and underarms, wine, grass, apply hydrogen peroxide directly to the stain before washing. Let it sit for 5 minutes. Watch it bubble as it breaks down the organic compounds in the stain, then wash as normal. Blood stains in particular respond to hydrogen peroxide better than almost any commercial stain remover on the market. The enzyme activity in blood is what the peroxide reacts with directly. And before we move on, use number 7 is personal. It's something a lot of people deal with in silence and spend significant money trying to address. Don't skip it. Use number 7, foot fungus and toenail treatment. Toenail fungus is more common in adults over 60 than almost any other age group. The nails thicken, discolor, become brittle. Over-the-counter treatments are expensive, often ineffective, and require months of consistent use. Prescription treatments are stronger but come with potential side effects. Hydrogen peroxide creates an oxygen-rich environment on the surface of the nail and surrounding skin. Fungus, like many pathogens, struggles to survive in an oxygen-rich environment. This is the basic science behind why it works. Soak your feet in a solution of equal parts 3% hydrogen peroxide and warm water for 20 to 30 minutes, 3 to 4 times per week. For targeted toenail application, use a cotton ball soaked in undiluted 3% peroxide and hold it against the affected nail for a few minutes daily. Results take time. Toenail fungus is stubborn. Use number 8 is one that's going to surprise you because it involves something most people think of as a completely separate category from hydrogen peroxide entirely. Use number 8, plant care and root rot prevention. If you have houseplants, and many seniors do, you may have experienced root rot. Overwatering creates an anaerobic environment in the soil where harmful bacteria thrive and root systems deteriorate. Hydrogen peroxide introduces oxygen directly into the soil, killing the anaerobic bacteria responsible for root rot while actually benefiting the healthy root system. Mix 1 teaspoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide per cup of water and use this solution to water affected plants. The extra oxygen also benefits root growth in healthy plants. This is inexpensive, safe, and surprisingly effective. And it is something almost no casual gardening resource mentions. Uses number 9 through number 15. Rapid fire. We've covered 8 in depth. Here are the remaining 7. Equally important, equally practical. Use number 9, wound cleaning. The classic use, but with an important update. Modern medical guidance has moved away from using peroxide on deep wounds as it can slow tissue regeneration. But for minor surface cuts and scrapes, a brief application remains effective for initial decontamination. Apply once, rinse with clean water, and switch to a gentle antiseptic for ongoing wound care. Don't pour it into deep wounds or use it repeatedly on the same cut. Use number 10 as cutting board sanitization. Your cutting board, particularly a wooden one, harbors bacteria in the cuts and grooves that dishwashing doesn't reach. Spray undiluted 3% peroxide across the surface after washing. Let it sit for 5 minutes, then rinse. This is particularly important for boards used for raw meat. Use number 11. Toothbrush disinfection. Toothbrushes are kept in bathrooms where toilet flushing disperses airborne particles. Soaking your toothbrush in 3% hydrogen peroxide for 15 minutes once a week kills bacteria that accumulates on the bristles. Rinse before use. Use number 12. Acne and skin blemishes. For minor surface blemishes, not deep cystic acne, a cotton ball with diluted hydrogen peroxide applied briefly to the affected area can reduce surface bacteria. Use sparingly and never on large areas of the face, as it can dry and irritate skin with overuse. Use number 13. Refrigerator cleaning and deodorizing. Spray the interior surfaces of your refrigerator with 3% peroxide. Let sit for 2 minutes. Wipe clean. It kills the bacteria responsible for food odors and is far safer around food storage than chemical cleaners. Use number 14. Humidifier cleaning. Humidifiers are breeding grounds for mold and bacteria if not cleaned regularly. Add a cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide to the water tank, let it sit for 30 minutes, rinse thoroughly and refill. Clean once a month minimum. Use number 15. Glass and mirror cleaning. Pour 3% hydrogen peroxide into a spray bottle, spray onto glass or mirrors, and buff with a lint-free cloth. It leaves a streak-free finish comparable to commercial glass cleaners, without the chemicals and at a tiny fraction of the cost. What to never do with hydrogen peroxide. Before you reach for that bottle, 5 things you must never do. Never drink it, even diluted. Internal use of hydrogen peroxide is dangerous and has caused serious harm and deaths. Ignore anything you read online about internal cleansing with peroxide. It is not safe. Never use it on serious or deep wounds. It interferes with tissue healing in deep injuries. Surface minor cuts only. Never use concentrations above 3% for any of the uses in this video. Higher concentrations cause chemical burns on skin and damaged surfaces. Never mix it with vinegar in the same container, as I mentioned earlier. And never store it in a clear container in a bright location. Light degrades it rapidly. Keep it in its original brown bottle in a cool, dark place. $2. That is what this costs. $2 and a bottle that fits in the palm of your hand. And it quietly outperforms products that cost 10, 20, 50 times more.